Some of the most interesting geography isn't a mountain or island. It's infrastructure hiding in plain sight, built because the place made every easy option impossible. North of Tokyo in Saitama Prefecture, there is a suburb that lives above one of the largest flood control systems on Earth. Its formal name is the Metropolitan Area Outer Underground Discharge Channel. But the idea is simple. When heavy rain overwhelms nearby rivers, water is guided into a hidden underground route instead of pouring through neighborhoods. The strange part is how ordinary the place can feel at ground level. People commute, shop, and live in communities above a machine built for storms. Beneath the surface are intake shafts connecting tunnels and a vast pressure chamber designed to slow floodwater before powerful pumps send it onward. This was not built for drama. It was built because the Tokyo region is crowded low in places and crossed by rivers that can rise suddenly during typhoons and intense seasonal rain. As the urban area expanded, more land became roads, rooftops, and concrete. Less rain soaked into the ground. More water moved fast. So engineers created an emergency path underground. Not a scenic landmark, not a normal tunnel, but a second geography beneath the first. It is a place built for moments most residents hope never happen. For most of the year, its purpose is invisible in daily life. But invisibility is the point. The safest flood system is one that spends long stretches doing almost nothing, then has to work immediately. That is why this hidden structure is so fascinating. It turns an ordinary suburb into a flood machine. The land above can feel normal, but the landscape below is waiting for the next storm, and it begins a pattern found in strange places. Worldwide, geography does not always rise above us. Sometimes it is engineered underneath. North of Tokyo. One of Japan's strangest public works exists because water had nowhere polite to go. The suburbs of Saitama sit inside a complicated river landscape. Small and medium rivers drain through communities that grew quickly during Japan's post-war urban expansion. Fields became housing, open ground became paved streets. The same rain that once spread out or soaked slowly into the soil began racing toward channels that were already under pressure. The problem was not one river being dramatic, it was a network problem. During typhoons and intense rainstorms, several waterways could rise at once. A local river might be full at the same moment. The larger river it needed to drain into was also high. When that happens, water does not simply disappear downstream, it stalls, backs up, and looks for lower ground. In a less crowded region, one answer might be wide open: floodplains, large retention basins, or leaving more room for rivers to spread. Around Tokyo land is precious. Millions of people live across a dense metropolitan region where railways, roads, homes, factories, and schools compete for space. Moving a river above ground would have meant moving much of the city around it, so the answer went below. Engineers built vertical shafts to swallow excess water, tunnels to carry it, and a huge underground chamber to control pressure before pumps release the floodwater into the Edo River system. The infrastructure does not fight geography by pretending the rain is harmless. It accepts the water, delays it, and gives it a safer route. That is what makes this place more than an engineering curiosity. It is geography translated into machinery. The underground channel exists because the surface world became too full for old solutions. In Saitama, hidden infrastructure is not decoration. It is the compromise between rivers' storms and a metropolis that cannot easily move. Tokyo's hidden flood channel is strange because its best days are the ones most people never notice. The Metropolitan Area Outer Underground Discharge Channel sits in Saitama, north of central Tokyo, and its purpose is not to be busy every day, it waits. Most of the time, the tunnels and chambers are dry or controlled enough for maintenance crews and guided visitors. Then, when heavy rain pushes rivers toward dangerous levels, the system becomes part of the region's emergency geography. Floodwater enters through intake structures connected to local rivers. It drops into deep shafts, moves through underground tunnels, and gathers in a pressure-adjusting chamber before being pumped into a larger river with more capacity. The point is not to erase flooding forever. No infrastructure can promise that. The point is to reduce the chance that smaller rivers will overwhelm dense neighborhoods during the worst storms. That creates a strange consequence. A suburb can seem ordinary because an extraordinary space is carrying some of the risk underneath it. Roads, homes, train lines, and businesses keep functioning not only because of what was built above ground, but because a second system exists below everyday life. It also changes how people think about safety. The channel is not a single heroic wall against nature. It is one piece of a larger flood strategy that includes river management, warnings, pumps, drainage, and planning. As storms become harder to predict in many parts of the world, places like Saitama feel more relevant, not less. They show that modern geography is often layered. One layer is where people live. Another is where water power, waste transport, and risk are managed quietly. That is why this place still feels almost unreal. It is not hidden because it is secret. It is hidden because the city depends on it most, when daily life is at its most fragile. Some landscapes announce their strangeness. Others bury it deep and wait for rain.